I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Michal Cymbalisty, the founder of Domination Finance. Michael, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for taking the time to come on.
Hey, Ashton. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm super excited about our discussions today and about the domination in the markets. It's a really interesting cycle that I think a lot of people need to know more about. And I would love to kick off our conversation together by, first of all, hearing a little bit about your background in the blockchain space and how that led into starting Domination Finance.
Yeah, most definitely. So I'm 24 years old and 2 years off graduating college. So my crypto journey started with one of our co-founders, Adrian, when we were hanging out. We were really good friends before we were co-founders. And, obviously I got to experience the 2017 bull run, which was really exciting. And after getting that thrill as like a junior in college, I never really turned back from the space. So after graduating, I spent a year at Exodus Wallet, where the early seedings of Domination Finance kind of started appearing when I actually came to New York and was able to meet the UMA team before they were even live on mainnet. The possibilities of their protocol got us really excited. And I think from a broad aspect, we always saw that the trading of Bitcoin dominance was something that was lacking, regardless of what people's sentiments are. I think, for DeFi and crypto to really evolve, we want, formal tools that people can trade and use as portfolio hedges as they see fit. So those were kind of the early seedings of my time in crypto and how Domination Finance got legs.
Very cool, Michael. And yeah, I'm glad that you stuck to it through 2017. And I think, that's the best time to be working on cool applications and platforms like this is through the bear market. And then when the time is right, all of a sudden it kicks off. And right now there's a lot of interest, specifically with the domination. I remember looking back at domination, Bitcoin domination before. It's like, if it's going down, you're going into altcoins. But I never actually thought of actually trading the domination itself. So that's pretty cool. And I would love for you to explain just a little bit more about the thesis behind Domination Finance and what it can do.
Yeah, totally. A lot of our team was in early stage venture before actually doing Domination Finance and not even crypto native. So I think the crux of why we even wanted to build this was you really want to listen to the market and just build for what exists. So as we were browsing Twitter and, reading forums, like it was a metric you saw so often. And like you mentioned, for some reason, it was just never directly tradable. And we really wanted to make that a key point. But, from a real basic level, we don't really care if Bitcoin's trading at, 10,000 or 100,000. We're interested in what percent of the crypto pie Bitcoin has. So obviously when market upturns, it's not as exciting. Obviously you're going to get your 2 and 3x's a lot faster on volatile assets. But when we have movements in the market like we experienced this morning, it's a really cool hedge that lets, investors actually get some upside even when the market may be red in US dollar terms.
Definitely. And, for those people that are invested in Bitcoin, they're looking at Ethereum, they haven't really dove into altcoins, and they may not understand fully, what is trading Bitcoin dominance. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. So, it's almost like betting on how much of the pie a certain coin's going to eat. So, if your average investor, let's say, has only Bitcoin exposure, a really, really good hedge, for example, in a portfolio like that would be shorting Bitcoin dominance. Because if altcoins outperform Bitcoin, you have your Bitcoin spot holdings, and now you have your hedge that in case the broader market starts to outperform Bitcoin, you still capture some of that upside. And vice versa, if you're an investor that's really into Ethereum but doesn't hold Bitcoin, you could, have a long position open on Bitcoin dominance on our exchange. And that's going to kind of be the counteracting bet in case Bitcoin does outperform the broader market.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And yeah, I completely agree. It's great to have those hedges, and it's great to also, just be more familiar with the dominance to sort of understand, the other coins, and they do relate to Bitcoin. The market sort of moves together, but they can also move apart where Bitcoin is flowing into other altcoins and then they're flowing back. And I think understanding that cycle helps you get a clearer picture of the market overall.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. A lot of prominent people on Twitter, like Pentoshi, for example, have made kind of a killing and counteracted, a lot of sentiment by being like, Bitcoin dominance is actually a really accurate thing to chart. I mean, you can do technical analysis on anything that has a chart. And like you said, the rotation of capital is really important. And I think just people being of these dynamics can really help, make for a more sophisticated portfolio and ultimately lower risk while maximizing upside across the board.
Definitely. So can we talk a little bit more about the platform itself? I know you've been working on it for quite a while now. What stage is it exactly at right now? Are there people trading? Is it a tokenization of the dominance itself, or how does it actually work in the platform?
Yes, so we are actually live right now, and a quick breakdown of how it works. To actually bring money into the ecosystem, users initially need to mint both what are called long and short tokens, which is a smart contract template from UMA. So effectively, USDC is locked up as collateral. And with the Bitcoin dominance pair, we'll use that as an example. For each 100 USDC, you get one tokenized Bitcoin dominance long token and one tokenized Bitcoin dominance short token. Okay. After those are minted, users can either add them to liquidity pools. We're plugged into Uniswap on Ethereum, so very simple process. 50-50 ratio of the tokenized dominance index and USDC, and then or you can actually sell it. If you want to minimize that exposure, and then eventually you can buy it back and redeem it for collateral. But from a high level, that's kind of how it actually works. If that, let me know if I could clarify any points.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You're tokenizing. And you're getting one on each side, and then you're also able to add liquidity. And it's not as easy as just going to an exchange and buying Bitcoin. That's for sure. There's an extra small bit of extra understanding. But obviously there's a need for this in the market as well. Can you talk about you're live? Have you seen a lot of traction right away? A lot of interest? Are you also trying to market it out, or have you seen organic growth with this kind of platform?
Yeah, so we just wanted to make sure we had it live when we had our funding announcement pushed last week. And we didn't really take a huge focus on fronting too much liquidity and usage from the get-go, which is a focus we're really taking the next couple of weeks, is to bring in some really more larger players and ideally institutional capital that is really looking to park these sums so there can be ample liquidity on the platform. I think right now, we're not really incentivizing anything yet with any of our partners, with any token rewards or anything like that. So we're kind of letting the platform get some traction naturally. But I think once we really start bringing in large money into these pools, it becomes a lot easier to trade for the retail investor because as you mentioned, the steps of the minting and the adding are a little more complicated. So over the coming months, one of our huge developments is going to be really simplifying that process. So, average investors can come in and use a really simple UI to hit their green long or the red short button and, acquire exposure in a matter of 2 clicks.
Definitely. I think that will be a huge advantage. And, for those early movers, you talked about you can add liquidity. Are there rewards and incentives for people that are also adding liquidity and being early users of the protocol?
Yeah, so nothing explicitly just yet, but that's definitely something we're going to be taking a focus on with some of our partners, especially UMA. I think we really want to structure some sort of program where we incentivize the right action. But at the same time, I think from a development standpoint, we want to simplify that process as well. But that is surely something that's going to be coming in the coming months.
Mm-hmm. Very exciting, Michael. And I would love to talk more about UMA as well. I'm pretty sure that there's at least some people that haven't heard of UMA. They don't understand what is the technology that's underlying Domination Finance. Maybe you can talk more about that.
Yeah, definitely. So the reason we're even built on them in the first place is I kind of like to dub them like a generalized community oracle. What was really, really unique with them and not other oracle solutions is they actually, through their governance process, let you submit a custom price feed. So all of our data is coming directly from CoinGecko, which is really cool. And we just built a custom API internally, pushed that through UMA's governance process, and then that became the source of truth, which is a really, really cool model. And another thing UMA does differently, when I mentioned the minting, there's actually no oracle calls going on chain. That's why you're kind of getting one long and one short token for each 100 USDC of collateral. I think that's a model that's a lot different from other oracles that tend to congest the networks a lot and be really push intensive. UMA really only looks for the price when there is the expiration or maturity date, which is something that exists.
Okay, very interesting. So from what I understand, using the Oracle process, you're able to pull in the domination percentage and other price feeds from CoinGecko.
Yeah, exactly. Which, we think is a really cool aspect because I think broadly speaking, they're really recognized as the source of truth in crypto right now. So we never really wanted to be in the business of having our own methodology of Bitcoin dominance. Why not, leverage the site that has multiple tens of millions of users every day and just let people trade that metric? So we're really excited, to have partnered with them for that. And they are actually one of our small angel investors as well.
Very cool, Michael. And now the product is live, but I know that your team has a lot to do still as you continue to grow out. I would love to hear some insights into the plans for the rest of 2021 and what you have in store with major releases as you continue to grow.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as I kind of touched on, the really first initial focus is going to be bringing in some of this long-term, larger institutionally geared capital to make sure the platform is actually really usable for a lot of people. So that's step one. From a broad strokes as well, we are really, really interested in branching across other L1s and L2s as an application that we think is pretty intuitive to use. We see the future being multi-chain, and we really want to hone in on that. So that's going to be the tangential focus alongside bringing in, a lot of this capital. And of course, as I kind of teased, we're going to be structuring some incentivized programs to actually incentivize adding liquidity and trading and using the platform in different ways.
Definitely. And I would love to hear your take on DeFi growing throughout 2022 and in the years to come, any trends that you see and how domination is going to fit in with those trends to help with their growth.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been pretty obvious now after the last year or so. It's kind of hard to refute that DeFi and decentralized applications are kind of going to be the crux of the future in crypto. We saw so many cool things pop up over the last 12 to 15 months that inevitably it's here to stay, and TVL is skyrocketing, pushing $100 billion. So all we really want to be is an option for people to use in their portfolios. I think ultimately the really cool thing about crypto is innovating is very simple, and it's you can build and have these really unique tools that don't necessarily exist in traditional finance. We want Domination Finance to be that spot in people's portfolios where they can come and flip the script and start focusing on market share instead of price. And obviously Bitcoin dominance is kind of the main metric, but something we're really excited about for the future, and what we want to hear from our community is these really, really cool things that actually stretch outside of crypto coins. So one thing we've obviously gotten is, I think DeFi dominance alone, a lot of people have been interested in. Maybe NFT dominance or like FTX dominance of centralized exchanges. So those are some of the things that we're going to be going forward. And ultimately, I think with the growth of DeFi, we're going to be able to capitalize on and, give traders and investors really unique tools in their portfolios.
Definitely, Michael. And I was thinking the same thing. I know there's other dominance factors that could play a huge role in the future. And I'm excited to see how Domination Finance incorporates that in beyond Bitcoin. So very exciting, very promising. For the viewers that are looking to learn more about this platform, get involved with Domination Finance community, and start using the platform and testing it out, what's the best way for them to get involved?
Yeah, you could give us a follow on Twitter at DominationFi. We have a link out to our info page, our exchange page, and our Discord. So come try the application. We felt that it's pretty intuitive to use. We really wanted to make the colors vibrant, so they tell you exactly what you need. If you want a long, it's big green and says long, goes up, right? Red, short is the complete opposite. But of course, any questions, reach out to our team in Discord. We'll be happy to chat. And really, like I mentioned, we're really excited about our community getting more involved in the future.
Definitely exciting. I will leave all those links as well in the description box below. All the best with Domination Finance moving forward, Michael, and let's follow up in the near future.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Ashton. I really enjoyed this.